You're rocking and rolling with Sportscaster 89. You're hopping aboard the Sports Report train on this Monday edition. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sportscaster 89. I'm a special Miss Florida athlete aspiring to be a sportscaster. So, like I said, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sportscaster 89. You're just hopping aboard the Sports Report train express. I am Sportscaster 89. I'm a special sport athlete. I compete in basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. I'm aspiring to be a sportscaster, so I'm doing these daily sports reports for you all today. So if you're just hopping aboard YouTube, you're hopping along the Sports Report Express train today. I am Sportscaster 89. For those of you that don't know me, I am Sportscaster 89 on my YouTube channel. Before we get started today, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel on the right-hand side. Click the notification bell on the right-hand side. You get all my live notification videos when I go live and when I do my sports reports on a regular basis. So this is today's Sports Report Express. You're hopping aboard it. So in today's Sports Report Express, here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover yesterday's action from Major League Baseball, the NBA, and the NHL. Next, we're going to check the updated standings from all three of these leagues, the MLB, NHL, and the NBA. We're going to discuss the hot topics from each league that are going on across Major League Baseball, NBA, and the NHL. We're going to do the hot topics and let you know what everybody is talking about in all three of these leagues today. And then we're going to preview tonight's action across Major League Baseball, the NBA, and the NHL. And then we will wrap it all up today. So don't forget, you guys, hop aboard YouTube, subscribe. I am Sportscaster 89. You're hopping aboard the Monday Sports Report Express train. We're going to get started in a matter of minutes. Don't forget, you guys, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am Sportscaster 89. I'm a special Miss Florida athlete who competes in basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. I'm also on the USA Games Board of Directors 2022 next year in Orlando. I'm also a Athlete of the Year in Special Olympics from 2010 from St. Lucie County. I'm also from I'm a Special Olympics Florida athlete that does basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. I'm about to do my sports reports today. So without further ado, everyone, like I said, we're going to cover the hot topics from each league today. We're going to preview tonight's action across Major League Baseball, the NBA, and the NHL. We're going to check the updated standings, which you all need to see today. We're also going to recap yesterday's action from Major League Baseball, the NBA, and the NHL. So without further ado, everyone, Sportscaster 89 here with you all today, chopping it up. You're aboard the Sports Report Express train today. You're chopping it up with me, Sportscaster 89, special sport athlete. Without further ado, I say to you all, my friends out there on YouTube, if you're just watching right now, I say to you all, let's all get started with this sports report today. We're going to recap the action from yesterday. So we're going to start in Major League Baseball. Here we go. We're going to recap yesterday's action across Major League Baseball first. Then we'll do the NBA. Then we'll do the NHL. Then we'll check the updated standings from all three of these leagues. Then we're going to discuss the hot topics from each league. Then we're going to preview tonight's action across these three sports leagues, Major League Baseball, NBA, and the NHL. All right, you guys, let's get started with today's scoreboard from yesterday from Major League Baseball. The Indians get a win yesterday, salvaging a sweep of the Yankees yesterday at home from Progressive Field. The Yankees do take 3 out of 4. They win this one by a final score of 7-3. The Orioles snapped the Oakland A's 13-game winning streak yesterday afternoon with an 8-1 victory. The Red Sox defeat the Mariners yesterday in Boston by a final score of 5-3. The Royals shut out the Tigers 4-0. The Mets shut out the Nationals 4-0. The Blue Jays shut out the Rays 1-0. The D-backs shut out the Braves in 7 innings and a doubleheader yesterday, 5-0. And then in game 2 of the doubleheader, Arizona shuts out Atlanta once again, 7-0. The Angels beat the Astros 4-2. The Pirates defeat the Twins 6-2. The White Sox defeat the Rangers 8-4. The Cardinals beat the Reds 5-2. The Brewers shut out the Cubs 6-0. The Rockies defeat the Phillies 12-2. The Giants defeat the Marlins by a run yesterday afternoon from San Francisco. And the game of the night last night, you guys, was the Dodgers and the Padres. This one went to extras. The Padres were down by 6 runs in this one against the Dodgers. They were down by 6 runs. They got 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th, Then they got the extra run in the 11th where they get 3 out of 4 over the Dodgers last night. They defeat the Dodgers last night by a final score of 8-7. Hill gets the win for San Diego. Clevenger gets a loss for LA. Mark Melancon gets his 8th save of the season for the San Diego Padres. And now we'll get to tonight's action across Major League Baseball, and then we'll check the standings right after we do the Sports Report Express menu for Major League Baseball tonight. So, this afternoon at 1:10, the Tigers will take on the Royals from Comerica Park in Detroit. It'll be Brad Keller for Kansas City against Turnbull for Detroit. Then this evening from Progressive Field in Cleveland, it'll be the Twins and the Indians in the AL Central battle. Jose Barrios will be opposed by Zach Plesac of the Cleveland Indians. The Braves will take on the Cubs in the first of a 4-game series from Truist Park in Atlanta at 7:10 tonight. It's Zach Davies for Chicago against Charlie Morton of the Atlanta Braves. First pitch from Truist Park is 7:10. The Rays will be at home against the Oakland A's in the first of a 4-game series. Sean Manaea for Oakland will be opposed by Rich Hill of the Tampa Bay Rays. The Marlins will take on the Brewers tonight from Miller Park in Milwaukee. It'll be Burns for Milwaukee against Trevor Rogers of the Miami Marlins. The Phillies will take on the Cardinals at 7:45 from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Adam Wainwright opposed by Zach Wheeler of Philadelphia. The Angels will take on the Rangers from Globe Life Field in Arlington tonight at 8:10. It'll be Shohei Ohtani against Jordan Lyles for Texas. The Rangers and the Astros at 8:05 tonight. The Angels and Rangers from Globe Life Field in Arlington tonight, 8:05 Eastern Time. Shohei Ohtani against Jordan Lyles for the Texas Rangers. The Mariners will take on the Houston Astros from Minute Maid Park in Houston tonight. It'll be Jose Urquidy for Houston against Sheffield for Seattle. The Rockies will head to Oracle Park in San Francisco tonight to take on the Giants in the first of a 3-game series from Oracle Park in San Francisco. It'll be Anthony DeSclafani for San Francisco against Austin Gomber and the Colorado Rockies. The Reds will take on the Dodgers tonight from Chavez Ravine in LA. It'll be Julio Urias for LA. He's undefeated at 3-0. He'll take on Luke Maile of the Cincinnati Reds. He's 1-1 on the season. And the Orioles will take on the Yankees in the first of a 4-game series from Camden Yards tonight. It'll be Deivi Garcia for New York against Matt Harvey for the Baltimore Orioles. And now we will take a look at the standings in the Major League Baseball right now. In the American League East, it's the Red Sox in first right now at 14-9, followed by the Rays at 500 at 11-11, the Blue Jays at 10-11, the Baltimore Orioles and the Yankees are in a tie for last place in the American League East at 9-12. Over in the Central, you got the Royals at 13-7. They've won 4 in a row. The White Sox are right behind them at 12-9. They've also won 4 in a row. The Cleveland Indians are 2 games under 500 at 9-11, followed by the Twins at 7-13, and the Tigers at 7-15. In American League West, the Oakland A's had their 13-game winning streak snapped yesterday to Baltimore, so they're still in first place. They've won 14 of their last 15, snapping their 13-game winning streak yesterday. They're 14-8 overall. The Mariners are surprisingly at 13-9 to start the regular season. They're 13-9. They're a game behind Oakland in American League West right now, early on. The Angels are at 500 at 10-10. The Astros are a game under 500 at 10-11. And the Rangers are 9-13 overall. Over in the National League East, the Mets are 9-8 right now. They've won a game. They're 5-5 in their last 10. The Phillies are a game back at 10-11. The Braves are 2 games back at 9-12. The Marlins are 2 games back as well at 9-12, and the Nationals are 2 games back in the East at 8-11. Now let's go to the National League Central. The Brewers are 13-8. They've won 2 straight. The Cardinals are 2 games back at 11-10. The Pirates are 5 games are at 500 at 11-11. The Cubs are 10-11. They're 3 games out, and the Reds are 3 games under 500 at 9 and 12. They're 4 games out in the National League Central. They've lost 7 straight. Over in the National League West, the Dodgers, the defending World Series champions right now, are in first in the division at 15 and 7. Their last 10, they're 5 and 5. The San Francisco Giants, they're 14 and 8. They're 6 and 4 in their last 10. They're only a game back of LA. The Dodgers lead by a game over the Giants in the division, followed by the Padres at 2 games over 500. They're 3 games back. They're 4 and 6 in their last 10. They defeated the Dodgers last night. They won 3 out of 4 in LA over the weekend. And Fernando Tatis was unbelievable. He homered in 3 straight games. Like I said, he homered 3 straight times in this game against the Dodgers this weekend. We'll get to the hot button topics in the league in just a moment. And then we'll get to all the other scores, and we'll get to all the other hot topic issues that are going on across these 3 leagues. So, you want to know more about the standings, guys? I'll tell you once more. The Red Sox are in first in the American League East at 14 and 9. The Tampa Bay Rays are at 500 at 11 and 11. The Blue Jays are a game under 500 at 10 and 11. They're 3 games back. Baltimore and the Yankees are tied for 4th in the division at 9 and 12, respectively. And both these teams will go at it tonight in a first of a 4-game series from Camden Yards at Baltimore. In the American League Central, once again, guys, we're going to tell you who's in first in the division. It's the Kansas City Royals at 13 and 7. They're 7 and 3 in their last 10. They've won 4 straight. The White Sox are behind them at 12 and 9. They're a game and a half back, and they've won 4 in a row as well. They're 7 and 3 in their last 10. The Cleveland Indians are 9 and 11. They're 4 games back. The Twins are 7 and 13, 6 games out. And the Tigers are 7 games out at 7 and 15. In the American League West, the A's are 14 and 8 after winning 13 consecutive games. Their 13-game winning streak was snapped yesterday to Baltimore, losing 8-1. They're 9 and 1 in their last 10. So Oakland is on fire. They were the hottest team in the major leagues so far. They've been hot. They started 0 and 7. They lost their first 7 games to start out the regular season. They were 1 and 6, and they've reeled 13 consecutive wins prior to yesterday's loss to Baltimore. So Oakland had been the hottest team in the majors. I'll get to that hot button topic. I'll talk about them as well in a matter of moments. So the Oakland A's had won 13 straight. Their ERA as a team was 2.25. They had won 13 consecutive games. They were on a roll up to yesterday. They could not muster any runs yesterday. They only had 1 run yesterday against Baltimore. They could not muster any offense yesterday, as Bob Melvin so elegantly put yesterday in his post-game presser. The A's offense couldn't do anything yesterday in that series finale against Baltimore. They lost 8-1. They had opportunities to get runs over. They just couldn't do it yesterday afternoon, so they lost yesterday 8-1. So the A's winning streak was snapped at 13. They were the hottest team in Major League Baseball, and they still are. Look at Oakland. They don't have a great payroll. Look at their payroll. They're not great. They're not like the Yankees or Dodgers with these payrolls. I mean, look at the A's. They have won 13 consecutive games. Their longest streak was 20 consecutive games back in the 2002 season. They had won 20 consecutive games in the 2002 season. That's the longest winning streak that Oakland had. Like I said, they won 13 consecutive games. The Oakland A's were hot, but they lost yesterday afternoon to Baltimore. They lost 8-1. Like I said, they're still first in the American League West, followed by the Mariners, then the Angels, then the Astros, and then the Rangers. In the National League East, it's the Mets, followed by the Phillies, the Braves, the Marlins, and the Nationals. In the Central, it's the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Pirates, the Cubs, and the Reds. In the West, it's the Dodgers, the defending World Series champions, followed by the San Francisco Giants, the San Diego Padres, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Colorado Rockies. And now, let's get to yesterday's action in the NBA, and then we'll get to the hot button topics that everybody's talking about in all 3 of these leagues. So, We'll do the scores from yesterday in the NBA. We'll check the updated standings and let you all know where your team sits right now as we wrap up the NBA regular season. We're coming down the stretch. So, KD returned to the lineup yesterday for Brooklyn. They got a big win yesterday afternoon. We'll go to yesterday's action first, and we'll start in Charlotte with the Hornets defeating the Celtics 125-104. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were both phenomenal yesterday for Brooklyn. They got the win over the Suns yesterday, 128-119. Let's take a look at the box score from this game yesterday. So Devin Booker led the Suns with 36 points. Chris Paul had 14. DeAndre Ayton had 20. Torrey Craig also had 20. For Brooklyn, yesterday, Kyrie Irving led with 34. Kevin Durant had 33. Blake Griffin had 16. And then Joe Harris and Jeff Green both had 10 points respectively for Brooklyn. They got the win yesterday over Phoenix 128-119. The Nets were down by as many as 2 at half. They rallied back. They led by as many as 16 in the fourth quarter. Kyrie Irving led the way for the Nets with 34 points on 10 of 19 shooting, 12 assists, and 6 boards. Kevin Durant had 33, 6 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals. Blake Griffin added 16 off the bench for Brooklyn. And then DeAndre Jordan had 6 and 12 boards. Meanwhile, for the Suns, they were led by Devin Booker's 36. DeAndre Ayton had 20 along with 13 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals. And also Torrey Craig for Phoenix also added 20 and 14. Meanwhile, Chris Paul finished with 14 points to go along with 8 assists and 4 boards for the Phoenix Suns as they lost this one by a final count of 128-119. Next, we head to Portland as the Grizzlies took on the Portland Trailblazers, and Ja Morant left the game yesterday for Memphis with a leg injury. Let us take a look at the box score for this one. The Grizzlies won this one by 7, 120-113. Let's take a look at the box score from yesterday. They were led by Ja Morant's 28 points. Jonas Valanciunas had 21. Dillon Brooks had 18. Kyle Anderson chipped in with 16. Brandon Clark chipped in with 10 for Memphis. And now let's go to Portland. Portland was led by CJ McCollum's 27. Damian Lillard had 23. Norman Powell had 17. Yusef Nurkic had 16 for Portland. Carmelo had 12 for Portland, but it was not enough as Portland loses this one at home by 7. The Wizards won this one by 9 over the Cavs at home from Capital One Arena in D.C., 119-110. Let's take a look at the box score from yesterday's game. The Cavaliers were led by Darius Garland's 28. Seed Osman led also at 19 for Cleveland. Jared Allen had 27 for Cleveland. Kevin Love had 12 for Cleveland. Isaiah Okoro had 10 for Cleveland. And then Washington was led by Bradley Beal's 33. Russell Westbrook had 14. Raul Neto had 14 for Washington. And then Daniel Gafford had 12 points for Washington. And then Robin Lopez also had 14 for Washington as the Wizards defeat the Cavs by 9 at home. The Bucks were taking on the Hawks yesterday from State Farm Arena in Atlanta yesterday. The Hawks get this win over the Bucks by 7. The Hawks are 5-2 without Trae Young in the lineup. Trae Young did not play yesterday for the Atlanta Hawks. Let's take a look at the box score. Who led this one in scoring for Atlanta and Milwaukee, respectively? You take a look at Giannis Antetokounmpo. He led the way for Milwaukee with 31 points, going along with 14 boards, 4 assists. Jrue Holiday added 19 for Milwaukee. Chris Middleton had 23 for Milwaukee. Brook Lopez had 11 for Milwaukee. And Bobby Portis led the way with 10 points for Milwaukee as they came up short by 7 over Atlanta. Meanwhile, for the Atlanta Hawks, they were led by Bojan Bogdanovic. He had 32 points. Clint Capella had 14 off the bench for Atlanta. Solomon Hill had 12 boards for Atlanta. John Collins had 18 points for Atlanta. Kevin Huerter added 20 points for Atlanta. Lou Williams off the bench added 15. So did Danilo Gallinari. The Hawks win this one by 7 over Milwaukee, 111-104. The Magic lose at home to Indiana, 131-112. Let's take a look at the box score and who led the way for the victorious Pacers over the Magic. Edmund Sumner led the way for Indiana with 21 points, followed by O'Shea Brissett with 13. Karis LeVert had 18 for Indiana. Malcolm Brogdon had 24 for Indiana. Doug McDermott had 16 for Indiana off the bench. Justin Holiday had 21 points for Indiana. Meanwhile, for the struggling Magic, they're led by Dwayne Bacon's 20 points, followed by Cole Anthony's 14. R.J. Hampton had 14 off the bench for Orlando, and Mo Bamba had 17 points for Orlando. Robert Franks also chipped in for 11 points for Orlando, and Wendell Carter Jr., who they acquired from the Bulls, added 10 points to go along with 7 boards. Dwayne Bacon had 20 points for Orlando to go along with 5 boards and an assist. So Orlando loses this one by 19, 131-112. And finally, Golden State and the Kings wrapped up last night in the NBA. The Kings lose this one by 4 over Golden State, 117-113. And we will check out the box score from last night for Golden State and Sacramento. Sacramento was led by Buddy Hield's 25, followed by Tyrese Haliburton, then Harrison Barnes. Tyrese Haliburton had 24 points for Sacramento. Buddy Hield had 25 to lead all scores for Sacramento, and Harrison Barnes led off the bench for Sacramento with 23. Rashad Holmes led the Sacramento Kings off the bench with 11 points as well. So for Golden State, Steph Curry had 37, Andrew Wiggins with 13. Draymond Green had 8 points to go along with 14 boards. Mikal Mulder had 11 points for Golden State. Juan Toscano-Anderson added 10 for the victorious Warriors as they get the win over the Kings by 4, 117-113. Now, let's head to tonight's action across the NBA. We got some big games tonight in this slate of action. And we will start on NBA TV with the Red Hot Knicks trying to extend their winning streak to 10 in a row. They'll take on the Suns from Madison Square Garden at 7:30 on NBA TV. The Hawks will go to Little Caesars Arena in Detroit to take on the Pistons at 7. The Magic will play a back-to-back against the defending World Series champion Lakers at 7. The Thunder will take on the Sixers from Wells Fargo Center in Philly. The Wizards will take on the Spurs at home from Capital One Arena in D.C. at 7. The Cavs will take on the Raptors from Amalie Arena in D.C. The Raptors will take on the Cavs from Amalie Arena in Tampa at 7:30. The T-Wolves will take on the Jazz from Minnesota at Target Center at 8. The Heat will take on the Bulls at home from American Airlines Arena in Miami. The Clippers will take on the Pelicans from Sewell King Center in New Orleans. The Grizzlies will take on the Nuggets to wrap up their West Coast trip. And the Mavericks will take on the Kings from Golden One Center in Sacramento as they take on the Dallas Mavericks. And now let's take a look at the standings in the up-to-date NBA standings right now. As we look at the conference as a whole in the East, it's the Nets at number 1 at 41-20, followed by the Sixers at 39-21, the Bucks at 37-23. The Knicks, who have won 9 consecutive games, are trying to go for 10 straight tonight against the Suns. They're number 4 right now at 37-27. The Hawks are in a tie as well with the Knicks for 4th at 34-27, followed by the Celtics in 6th, the Heat in 7th, the Hornets at 9th, the Pacers at the Hornets at 8, the Pacers at 9, the Wizards at 10. The Bulls at 11, the Raptors at 12, the Cavs in 13th, the Magic in 14th, and the Pistons in last in the conference at 15th. In the West, It's the Jazz with the best record at 44-16, followed by the Suns at 42-18, the Clippers at 43-19, the Nuggets at 39-21, the Lakers at 10 games over 500 at 35-25, the Mavericks at 33-26, the Blazers at 32-28, the Grizzlies at 31-28 respectively, the Spurs at 30-29, the Warriors at 31-30, the Pelicans at 26-34, the Kings at 24-36, the Thunder at 20-40, the Timberwolves at 17-44, and followed by the Rockets at 15-46. And now, let's get to yesterday's action in the National Hockey League, and then we're going to discuss the hot topics that are going on across these three leagues. And like I said, I'm previewing all these games tonight, and then we'll get into tomorrow's report, and then we will write down what we're going to cover tomorrow. And so, last night in the NHL, let's take a look at last night's action, and then we'll get into tonight's action, and then we will dive into the hot topics that are going on in these leagues. Last night, the Rangers get a win at home over the Sabres at the Garden, 6-3. Your final score from Madison Square Garden. The Rangers keep their hopes alive of making the playoffs in hockey. The Lightning defeat the Blue Jackets in overtime at home. Final score, Lightning 4, Blue Jackets 3. The Penguins get a goal from they get a goal last night from They get a goal yesterday, gain the win over Boston last night. Final score, Bruins yesterday lose this one in a shutout yesterday afternoon, 1-0. The Flyers defeat the Devils by a final score of 4-3 in a shootout. Once again, let's roll down these scores for you guys as the Sabres lose at the Garden to the Rangers last night, 6-3. The Lightning get the overtime win over the Blue Jackets, 4-3. The Penguins shut out the Bruins, 1-0. And the Flyers win the shootout over the New Jersey Devils, 4-3. And now, let's take a look at the up-to-date standings in the division. Because remember, guys, like I said, the top 4 teams will make the playoffs in each division in the East and the West. So, with that said, let's take a look at the up-to-date standings in the division. In the East Division, the Penguins are leading the division at 32-14 with 67 points. Next is the Washington Capitals at 31-13 with 66 points. Followed by the Islanders at 29-14 with 63 points. The Boston Bruins at 27-14. The Rangers are 4 points back of Boston at 25-18. Then it's the Flyers at 22-19 with 51 points. The Devils at 14-27 with 35, and the Buffalo Sabres in last at 13-29 with 33 points. Now, let's go to the Central Division where this is getting tight. The Carolina Hurricanes are at 68 points. They're 31-10. They're first in the division in the Central, followed by the Panthers at 31-13 with 67 points. Then the Lightning, the defending Stanley Cup champions, in third at 32-14 with 66 points. And the Nashville Predators in last at 26-21 with 54 points. Now, outside the top 4, you got the Dallas Stars at 20-15 with 52 points. The Chicago Blackhawks in sixth with 49 points at a game over 500 at 22-21. The Detroit Red Wings are 17-25 with 42 points, and the Columbus Blue Jackets are last in the Central Division at 15-25 with 40 points. Now, let's take a look at the West Division. Now, we're going to preview these games today, and we're also going to give you the hot topics of all these leagues that are going on right now. So in the West, you have Vegas in first with 70 points at 34-11. Followed by the Colorado Avalanche at 31-10 with 66 points. Then the Wild at 31-13 with 65 points. They're only 5 points behind the Vegas Golden Knights for number one in the West Division. Then it's Minnesota at 31-13 with 65 points. It's Arizona in fourth at a game under 500 at 21-22 with 47 points. Now, outside the top four, you got the Blues with 46 points at a game over 500 at 20-19. Then it's the San Jose Sharks with 41 points. Then it's the Los Angeles Kings with 40. Then the Anaheim Ducks with 35 points in last in the West. Now, let's go to the Scotiabank North Division. You got the Maple Leafs at number one with 65 points at 30-13. The Winnipeg Jets are second at 27-17 with 57 points. The Edmonton Oilers are third at 27-16 with 56 points. And the Montreal Canadiens are fourth in the Scotia North Division at 20-17 with 49 points. Outside the top four, you have your three Canadian teams, the Calgary Flames at 21-23 with 45 points, the Vancouver Canucks at 500 at 19-19 with 41 points, and the Ottawa Senators 10 games under 500 at 17-27 with 38 points. And now, let's get to tonight's action across the National Hockey League. We have big games tonight with playoff implications, playoff seeding. We will start at 6:30 from Calgary. It'll be Montreal taking on Calgary at 6:30. Vancouver takes on Ottawa at 7. At 7:30 on NBCSN, it'll be the Carolina Hurricanes in the Central Division that are number one. They'll take on the Dallas Stars from American Airlines Center in Dallas. Next, we have the Edmonton Oilers. They'll take on the Winnipeg Jets from Winnipeg at 9 o'clock. The Arizona Coyotes will be out west in San Jose to take on the San Jose Sharks at 10:30. The Florida Panthers, who are second in the Central, they'll take on the Nashville Predators from Bridgestone Arena in Nashville at 8 on Bally Sports Florida and Bally Sports Southeast. Once again, the Panthers will take on the Nashville Predators from Bridgestone Arena in Nashville tonight at 8. The Colorado Avalanche will continue their season series with the St. Louis Blues tonight from Scott Trade Center in St. Louis at 7. The Anaheim Ducks will take on the Los Angeles Kings from downtown Los Angeles at the Staples Center. And now, let's talk the hot button topics that everybody's talking about. Let's start with Major League Baseball. So we'll get to the news of the day that everybody's talking about in Major League Baseball here. So let's get started with that. So let us take a look at the power rankings in Major League Baseball, and we'll also dive into the hot topic that everybody's discussing around Major League Baseball. Okay, guys, as we are almost we're almost at the end of the first month of the season. The National League West is just really interesting as expected. Obviously, the Dodgers-Padres has been the showdown everybody's been talking about. So let's look at this. Everybody seems to be cooking. It's in the wild, wild west. You look at this division right now, guys. 4 of the 5 teams in this division have at least a 500 record. Everybody, including the 8-13 Rockies, they have a plus run differential. So the most surprising team of the bunch right now is the San Francisco Giants. They're 14-8. They've won 6 out of their last 8. In an odd scheduling quirk, they even have had more of an opportunity to gain ground. And look at this. Soon, 6 of their next 9 games, the San Francisco Giants, who are second in the National League West, they're going to take on the Colorado Rockies, which they're sub 500 right now. And now, a little bit more of those Dodgers and Padres so far in the season series. Look at this. The teams that played 68 innings so far, and in 55 of these ones, the lead has not been great by either team by more than 2 runs in these last 68 games so far. 68 innings, I should say. Should be pressed to find a 7-game postseason series that has been so close. And look at the 2 teams in the American League that have made the biggest jumps. Kansas City and Oakland from 15-2, and the Royals from 20-7. Since the A's are in the top 5, we will dedicate the space to the Royals. Look at the Royals. They are 13-7. They have the third best record in Major League Baseball so far, behind the Dodgers and the A's. The Dodgers are 15-7, while the A's are 14-8. It's the best off for the Royals when they started 2015 at 14-6. And we look at the biggest drop right now. The Reds have dropped 14 spots from 4 to 18. They have lost 7 straight games, and they're over the course of 1 week. They have slipped from first to the National League Central to last. We look at Cincinnati. They started hot. They are 0-7 so far. Truth to be told, somewhere in the middle and not in this division, the race is probably not going to end up in a landslide, but we'll keep you posted on that. But as we look at the top 5 in the power rankings in Major League Baseball, we'll start with the Dodgers at number 1. While the Dodgers have lost 4 of their last 5 and 3 of 4 to San Diego at home, they still own the baseball's best record at 15-7. They've simply put, thanks to a hot red start, only producing 2 losses in their first 13 games. So they've won 13 of their last 15, guys. So the Dodgers are number 1 in the power rankings. Number 2, the biggest show, like I said, guys, with the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's had won 13 straight, but it came to an end yesterday against the Baltimore Orioles 8-1. The Oakland A's are 0-6. They were going in the wrong direction in a 2-week spurt. They start 0-6. But look at this streak that they're on in the last 13 games. They outscored their opponents 81-36. I repeat, the Oakland A's have outscored their opponents in the last stretch of games, winning 13 in a row, 81-36. The third team in these rankings in the MLB will be the San Diego Padres. Let's look at Fernando Tatis. What a tremendous talent this young man is. Fernando Tatis Jr., over and over again, he has been outstanding for the San Diego Padres. He homered in all 4 of these games against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Look at this. In the week that he had 5 homers, 36 RBIs, and a .435 clip, which is 10 for 23 in the past 6 games. Once again, Fernando Tatis Jr. is on fire. He's in fuego. Like I said, he's homered in 5. He's had 5 homers, 6 RBIs, and a .435 clip. He's batting 10 for 23 in his last 6 games. We look at the 4th team in the hot rankings in the MLB. It's the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox finished their homestand at 5-5, but they got a strong outing yesterday from Eduardo Rodriguez in the finale against the Mariners. He struck out 8 in 7 innings, stretching his pitching of at least 5 innings to a start in 32 of those games. Look at this for Boston right now in the rankings, guys. If we look at Boston right now, we look at Boston. Eduardo Rodriguez is 4-0 with a 3.52 ERA. He has yielded only 2 walks against 26 strikeouts. The Red Sox are 10-9 when he pitches. Other than the Red Sox are 10-9 when Eduardo Rodriguez does not start. Their Sox are game over 500. But thanks to Eduardo Rodriguez, he's 4-0 with a 3.52 ERA. And the last team in the hot rankings in the top 5 will be the Milwaukee Brewers. Brandon Woodruff has been unbelievable for Milwaukee. He threw 6 shutout innings yesterday against the Cubbies in a 6-0 shutout, and Brandon Woodruff has a 1.55 ERA and a 0.72 WHIP in the last 5 starts this season. After allowing 3 runs over his first 4 innings in his first start, he's only allowed 2 runs over his last 25 innings. And we look at the rest of the top 30. The White Sox are 6th after they were 10th last week. The Royals, the Mets, the Rays, the Braves, the Cardinals, the Yankees are number 12 right now in the rankings. The Twins are number 13. The Astros are 14th. The Blue Jays are 17th. The Angels are 17th. The Giants are 16th. The Reds are 18th. The Phillies are 19th. The Cubbies are 20th. The Mariners are 21st. The Indians are 22nd. The Marlins are 23rd. The Diamondbacks at 24. The Pirates at 27. The Nationals at 26. The Orioles at 27. The Rangers at 28. The Tigers at 29. And the Colorado Rockies are number 30 in this week's MLB rankings. Now, guys, let's talk about last night's thriller. That was the big game last night. Let's look at last night. The Padres came back from 6 runs down last night. They were down 7-1. They were not hitting. They were struggling in this game last night. They were dominated by Dustin May last night. Joe Musgrove did not even pitch that great last night, but the Padres came back from 6 runs down last night to come back and defeat the Dodgers in the game of the year so far in the regular season by a final count of 8-7 in 11 last night. What a game by these two heavyweights from the National League West last night. It was the 7th game between the Padres and Dodgers within the past 10 days. All 7 of them have had drama, like it's in October. So early in the National League West, the Dodgers still lead the division, but it's the Padres in the season series who hold the edge right now at 4-3 in the season series between these two squads. They'll play again in June, but like I said, this is what Eric Hosmer had to say last night for the Padres after their game last night. He said, and I quote, "They certainly felt like playoff games." And I quote, this is from Eric Hosmer, whose 11th inning sacrifice fly proved to be the definitive deciding run last night in this one. It's definitely a good preview of what should come in October. And I quote, he says, "But there's still a lot of work to do for both these teams. Hopefully," he says, "we get to meet those guys again on that stage." If you're looking at the Dodgers' perspective, y'all, of course they swept the Padres in the National League Division Series a year ago en route to the World Series. Meanwhile, for San Diego, they spent the offseason doing their best to erase that gap. They reload their pitching staff by trading for Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, and San Diego native Joe Musgrove. They've added to their bullpen. They've locked up Fernando Tatis for the next 14 seasons. The Padres and Dodgers have only played 7 times a season, and it's still April. But it sure looks like the gap at least is narrowing for now. Eric Hosmer said, and I quote, "We're going to fight these guys to the end." And I quote, "We respect what they've done. We respect who they are, but certainly not going to back down from them. We're going to give them our best shot every single time." That's a statement that we've made in this season series to open the regular season thus far. Look at what happened on Sunday, guys. Joe Musgrove struggled early, and after Nick Ramirez allowed 5 runs in the 6th, the Padres were down by 6. Their win probability dipped to 1%. No team in baseball this season had rallied from a 6-run deficit. I said this in the onslaught, you guys. The Dodgers were up by 6 last night, and the Dodgers were going to win. Their win probability was 99.9% last night. The Padres' win percentage was slightly at 1%. They were down by 6. They string together hits together, like Eric Hosmer said, and I quote, "Just string a couple of hits together," said Hosmer, and I quote, "Let's see what happens." Sure enough, Eric Hosmer led off the 7th with a single, and one of the most remarkable comebacks by the Padres in recent history was underway. San Diego scored 2 in the 7th, in the 8th and the 9th. Manny Machado's RBI single plated Tatis to complete the comeback. They sent the game to extras. Tatis would score the winning run on Eric Hosmer's sacrifice fly in the 11th. And this is what J.C. Tingler said, and I quote, "What meant the most was watching a group of men not give in, not give up, keep going, work together, and chip away." Tingler isn't one for pregame speeches, but he called his players together on Sunday morning to remind them of the work they had put in during their stretch of 17 games in 17 days. The Padres were gassed. Surely enough, but Tingler asked for one more day of intense focus and drive before Monday's off day, which they're off today. His players responded. Look at Look at Dodger star Dustin May last night, for example. He stifled the Padres for 6 innings, only allowed a solo home run to the red-hot Fernando Tatis Jr., like I said. It was his 5th in 3 games, making him the first visitor at Chavez Ravine history to have 5 home runs in a 3-game span. 5 homers in a 3-game span by this incredible young shortstop of the San Diego Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. He spent 10 days on the DL with a shoulder problem. He was on the 10-day IL with a shoulder issue. But if we look at the rest of this, he was on the IL for 10 days with a partially separated shoulder on his left side here. They moved into a first-place tie with the defending World Series champions in the National League West early on. See, look at this. So far in 2021, let's look at the season series between these two squads. This is the hot button topic that I'm talking about here. Game 1 was a 12-inning thrower that saw benches clear. Corey Seager hit a go-ahead home run in the 12th. Jake Cronenworth pitched. David Price hit an extra inning sacrifice fly to Musgrove. We look at Game 2 of the season series between these two squads in the National League West. Mookie Betts had an incredible, sensational, ridiculous catch to save the game for the Dodgers that propelled them to the win in extras. Look at Game 3. The Padres rallied with an Eric Hosmer double in the 7th. They won it in the single in the 8th. Game 4, a remarkable double play started by Jake Cronenworth, turned by Tatis in the 8th inning, which was Game 4, which was unbelievable. Game 5 saw Fernando Tatis Jr. on the 22-year anniversary of his dad fabled 2 Grand Slam inning at Dodger Stadium at Chavez Ravine. He had 2 home runs in the very same venue. Game 6 brought some hijinks between Tatis and Trevor Bauer. After Tatis went deep off the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner that mimicked his celebration. Now look at last night, Game 7 in the season series between these two contested National League squads. Every game we played so far has been a battle, back and forth, Tingler said. And I quote, "Every game we played so far has been a battle, knockdown, drag out." Now, the rivalry will not be renewed until June. These two teams will not play again until June. And then they'll play 3 more in August and then 6 in September. And no, it would not be a surprise to anybody if they tacked on a few in October as well during the postseason. So that's the hot button topic in Major League Baseball. Now let's get to the hot button topic in the NBA, in the association. We're gonna wrap this up shortly, guys. Don't leave just yet. We're almost done. We're just doing the hot button topics of the day in Major League Baseball and NBA and the NHL, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Now let's get to the news of the day in the NBA, the hot button topic that everybody's talking about. Let's talk about Kevin Durant returning last night. Like I said, guys, he was unbelievable yesterday. That was the focus. He dropped 33 against the Suns. As you all know, Kevin Durant has been dealing with with his Achilles injuries, his ankle injuries. But last night, he led the victorious Brooklyn Nets last night with a big win at home over Phoenix, 128-119. Kevin Durant had 33 points for Brooklyn. They're in first place in the East ahead of Philadelphia. Steph Curry was also phenomenal last night for Golden State. He added 37 as the Kings lost to Golden State on the road at Chase Center in San Francisco last night by 4, 117-113. Let's look at the New York Knicks. They're going to play tonight. They're going to try and extend their winning streak to 10 in a row. They play the Suns tonight at home in a big game, a big one tonight at the Garden. So I'll be watching tonight. So I want to see if the Knicks can extend a winning streak to 10 in a row. The Knicks are the hottest team in the NBA right now. They've won 9 straight. They're looking for 10 in a row tonight against Phoenix. I think they'll get it tonight. But it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a battle. because you got Devin Booker for Phoenix, you got Chris Paul, you got DeAndre Ayton. For the Knicks, they got Julius Randle, you got Emmanuel Quickley. They have some players who have stepped up. Nerlens Noel, he stepped up. Look at Obi Toppin, he stepped up as well. RJ Barrett stepping up as well for New York. Like I said, the Knicks, they're looking to extend their winning streak tonight to 10 in a row against the Phoenix Suns tonight. So that's going to be the game that I'll be watching for tonight. That's the big one because if you look at the Suns, they're coming off a game yesterday against Brooklyn. They lost that one by 9, 128 to 119. Now, you're playing a back-to-back. If you're Phoenix, you have to win this one. You're the Knicks, your job is to extend their winning streak to 10 in a row. You're going to have to start on the defensive end. You got to contain Devin Booker. You can't slow him down, but you got to be able to stay in front of him. Don't let him go off. And if you're the Knicks, you got to continue to ride the hot hand, which has been Julius Randle. Julius Randle has been hot for them. So Julius Randle, who was an all-star this year for the Knicks, you got to continue to ride him. You also got to continue to ride your bench if you're New York. And if you're Tom Thibodeau, you got to get started on the defensive end. It's going to be defense tonight against the Suns. The Suns can score. So you're going to have to slow down Chris Paul. You got to slow down Devin Booker. And you got to slow down DeAndre Ayton if you're the Knicks tonight. The Knicks have won 9 in a row. They're looking for 10 in a row tonight. I believe they'll get it. It's going to be a close game. I'll be watching. So don't forget, you guys, tune into tonight's action on MSG on Bally Sports Arizona. And you can also watch tonight's game on NBA TV at 7:30, Knicks and Suns. This should be a good one before the Knicks play their last home game of their stretch against the Bulls on Wednesday night. And then they head on the road for 6 out west, which is going to be difficult. The Knicks got 6 games on the West Coast upcoming, which are not going to be easy. They got to play Denver. They got to play Memphis. They got to play Houston. They got to play the Clippers. They got to play the Lakers. That is not going to be an easy stretch of games for the Knicks coming up. They have an upcoming road trip out west. First, they'll play Houston. Then they'll play Memphis. Then they'll play Denver. Then they'll play the Lakers. They'll play the Suns. They'll also play the Clippers as well. And then they'll return home to play the Spurs at home. So like I said, this game tonight for the Knicks against the Suns will be a big one. Because if you're the Knicks, you're trying to extend your winning streak to 10 in a row. Your Suns, your job is to break the Knicks' winning streak and stop it at 9. So tonight's action is the Knicks and the Suns at 7:30, followed by Luka and the Mavericks going to Golden One Center in Sacramento to take on the Sacramento Kings at 10. It's an NBA TV doubleheader. You can watch the Knicks and Suns on MSG. Mike Breen, Clyde Frazier, Rebecca Harlow will have the call for you on MSG. Bally Sports Arizona, Tom Chambers, Eddie Ray will have the call for you on Bally Sports Arizona Plus. This game will be on Bally Sports Arizona. If you're in the Arizona area, if you're on MSG, you can watch it. Mike Breen, Clyde Frazier will have the game for you tonight, and Rebecca Harlow on the sidelines for the Knicks. The Knicks will try to extend their winning streak to 10 in a row tonight against the Phoenix Suns. The Suns are playing a back-to-back. The Knicks did not play. They didn't play yesterday, so the Knicks were well rested. They played Saturday against the Raptors. They got the win. They're rested. The Suns are playing a back-to-back. So let's see what happens tonight. I'm going with the Knicks. It's going to be a close one, but I think the Knicks are going to find a way to extend a winning streak to 10 in a row. So that's the hot button topic that I discussed in the NBA. And finally, we will discuss the hot button topic in the National Hockey League. And then we'll wrap it up, and then I'm going to go have my lunch, and then we're going to wrap it up for the day. So what's going on? So what's the latest in the NHL right now? Let's take a look. Let us take a look. So this is what we're going to talk about today. What to watch for. This is where we're going to talk about what to watch for. This is the hot button topic that we're going to discuss in the National Hockey League today. This is going to be where I tell you what you're going to look for this week. Like I said, what to watch for. Wednesday night, hockey on NBCSN. We got a huge matchup where the Golden Knights of Vegas will take on Colorado at 9:30. This will be a tough test for Vegas. So let's see. Grab your remote this week, or if you have NHL Center Ice, listen to the games you need to look forward to this week. We'll start tonight in Calgary at 6:30. Montreal takes on Calgary. As we look at this, the Flames look to finish 3 weeks ago. The Flames looked finished 3 weeks ago. They were 1-8 in their last 9 from March 20th to April 5th. Now look at Calgary. They're 5-2 in their last 7, including a 3-1 win over the team they're chasing, the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal is 4th in the 17 division. Calgary is 5th, 4 points behind the top 4 teams making the playoffs in the Stanley Cup. The Flames defeated the Canadiens 4-2 on Friday and 5-2 in Calgary on Saturday. A win again here in regulation, they'll pull within 2 points of Montreal. They lose in regulation, however, guys, though, they'll be 6 points behind Montreal, and Montreal has a game in hand. I'll repeat. If Calgary wins this one tonight against Montreal, they'll be within 2 points of Montreal. They lose in regulation, guys, they'll be 6 points behind, and Montreal has a game in hand. Next, tomorrow night, this is a big one. The Capitals and the Islanders on NBCSN and NBC Sports Washington from Capital One Arena tomorrow night. This is a big game between these two squads because the Capitals defeat the Islanders 6-3 the other night. So here we go. The Capitals are 5-2 against the Islanders this season. They shut out the Islanders in New York 1-0 on Thursday, and they beat the Islanders 6-3 on Saturday. The offense was impressive for the Capitals, and they're still without their forward, Alexander Ovechkin, who was day-to-day with a lower body injury. The Islanders are one of the best teams in the NHL defensively. They're second against goals per game to the Golden Knights. The Islanders are at 2.31. The Golden Knights are 2.15. Now, this is a huge game tomorrow night because here is where it gets critical for the Islanders and the Capitals. The Capitals, Islanders, and Penguins are vying for first in the division behind the Bruins. Now, here's the Wednesday night second game of the doubleheader on NBCSN on Wednesday. Look at Vegas right now. Vegas is on a 9-0-0 run, their longest winning streak since they began play as an expansion team in hockey in 2017 and 2018. But note, here is a quote from Coach Peter DeBoer of Vegas, which he came when Vegas was on a 6-game streak into the streak and had played anyone in the top 3 in the 8-team Honda West division. They still have not. Here is what Coach Peter DeBoer said for Vegas, and I quote, "I like our game. I like how we're playing recently. We haven't played Colorado, though. So teams like that put that type of pressure on you, you'll definitely be in a different test. So here comes this test for Vegas on Wednesday night at 9:30 against Colorado. Here's why. Vegas leads the West by 4 points over Colorado, which has 2 games in hand. The Golden Knights' winning percentage is .745. The Avalanche is .733. Both of these teams have the best record in the NHL in terms of points percentage. Here in their last 6 games, here we go. There are 6 games against one another this season. Vegas is 3-3-0. Colorado, meanwhile, is 3-2-1. Next, Thursday night, we have a big game in the season series between Pittsburgh and Washington. Thursday night on NBC Sports Washington and AT&T Sportsnet Pittsburgh and ESPN Plus on Thursday. On Saturday, they'll play each other again in Washington. Pittsburgh is 4-2 against Washington this season, but 2 of those victories came in overtime for Pittsburgh and another one in a shootout. Here's why. Sidney Crosby has scored 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists for Pittsburgh in the season series, including an overtime goal. He is tied with defenseman Chris Letang, 6 assists for second on the Penguins to forward Jake Gensel, 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists. Look at Alexander Ovechkin, meanwhile, for the Capitals. He's one of 5 Capitals with 5 points. He has 1 goal and 4 assists. Next game you need to look for this week in the NHL is the Dallas Stars against the Nashville Predators on Saturday. The Stars have faced adversity since making the 2020 Stanley Cup Finals a year ago due to injuries to COVID-19. But here they are. They're threatening to return to the postseason and go on another run. Dallas is 7-1-2 in their last 10 games, and they're fifth in the Discover Central Division. They're 2 points behind fourth place Nashville with 2 games in hand. They've never failed to get at least 1 point in 7 games against them this season. They're going 3-0-4. Stars forward Joe Pavelski has scored 11 points, 4 goals, 11 assists in the season series. This is the last meeting of the season between these two squads. So that's the hot button topics going on in the NHL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. I hope you guys enjoyed today's sports report. I am Sportscaster89. Don't forget, you guys, please like and subscribe to my channel. You hopped aboard the sports report train on this Monday. I am Sportscaster89. I hope you all have a tremendous day. Don't forget, you guys, please like and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I am Sportscaster89. I am an aspiring sportscaster, up and coming, aspiring to be a sportscaster. I'm also a special sport athlete that competes in basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. I'm also on the USA Games Board of Directors for next year, which is going to be in Orlando. I'm also an athlete leader on the Athlete Book Council for the USA Games. So once again, I'm aspiring to be a sportscaster. I'm a special sport athlete that competes in basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. I'm on the USA Games Board of Directors as well for 2022 next year, which will be in Orlando. So don't forget that. So with that said, everyone, have a tremendous Monday, and we'll see you all tomorrow for the Tuesday Sports Report Express. So let's hop aboard that tomorrow. So like I said, you guys, you hopped aboard, you chopped it up with me today on the Sports Report Express train. I am Sportscaster89, wishing you all a tremendous Monday. See you all tomorrow, and we'll hop aboard the Sports Report train once more. So let's hop aboard tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.